So we are 1-1 measuring segments and angles. So a point is a location and has no size. A point is a location. It has no sides. A diagram of that is a point with a P. Notation, which means how we write it on our paper, we would say point P. Now, you notice what kind of a P is that?
Capital.
Capital. It could be point K, L, M, it doesn't matter, okay? How we draw it is like this. How we write it on our paper is like this. Make sense? Okay. Next, a line is an infinite number. Is that close enough? I need to zoom in a little bit more. Just because. A line is an infinite number of points on a straight path that extend in two opposite directions with no end and has no thickness. I hate these notes most of all because you spend so much time writing. We haven't done anything. Okay, there's the picture of a line. It's pretty straight. Has arrows on the end to show it goes forever and ever. It has 2 points, A and B, and a cursive lowercase h. If it is off the line like this, they are naming the line H. It is always a cursive lowercase letter. It's usually L, M, you'll see K, H, but it is always a cursive lowercase letter. The way you can write it on your paper is just with the cursive lowercase letter H, or you can write it with the 2 points. Now, a line has infinite number of points, but it has to have at least 2. Does that make sense? And when we name it, we only have to say 2 of them. So we do AB and put a line above it. Now, what makes this a line? What do I have on the ends? The arrows. Yep. Now, it cannot be BA. It has to be AB. When at all possible, things must be in alphabetical order. And you'll see at least one today where it can't always be. Am I good to go to the next one? Okay. A plane is an infinite number of points and lines on a flat surface that extends without end and has no thickness. I paused at a weird place and it threw me off. Now, technically, my desk does not extend without end, but is it a plane? Yes. Is your table a plane? If you hold up your book, is it a plane? Yes. Okay, so my picture looks like this. It has 3 points on it, and this M over in the side corner is just its name. So we name it plane M or plane XYZ. Has to be at least 3 points, and the points have to be in alphabetical order, even if they skip letters. Does that make sense? Makes sense. We don't have a fancy picture. I don't know what it would be for a plane. I think it would look weird. Am I good to go to the next one? Are we still going? Really? I don't want to go too fast. Okay, a segment. Oops. A segment is the part of a line that consists of 2 points called endpoints and all the points between them. So this segment is called CD. How does this segment look different than the line AB that you had up here?
This one
How do they look different?
Dots instead of.
it stops. It's not on.
Yep. Josh, what?
I was gonna say. There's like dots instead of arrows. Sure.
Okay. But what part does this have that this doesn't have? What told you this was a line? Anybody? The arrows. The arrows tell me that this is a line. Does this have arrows?
No.
No.
Oh, I see now.
Okay. This one also is named H, isn't it? What's this one named? CD. Now, CD with a segment over it. What's different between a segment and a line?
What? The segment is not there.
This segment doesn't have arrows. Be careful because people get lazy and they tell me a line and they just put a segment above it. Guess what I get to do then?
Cross it.
Mark off points. Okay? Now, can I say on this line that there is a segment AB? Yes, because that's from here to here. But does it include the whole line if I say segment AB? No. If I say segment AB, I'm only talking from here to here. But if I say line AB, I'm talking about what? All of it. Does everyone understand the difference between a segment and a line? And you're looking at me like I'm absolutely crazy. We're not stupid. We get this. But guess what? Doesn't always happen that way. Okay. A ray is a part of a line that consists of one endpoint and all the points of the line on one side, and that is not how you spell side. Nobody last time said Mrs. Mick. Side. I wonder how many of them wrote it wrong. Side of the endpoint. So here's my ray. It starts at where? M, and extends forever, correct?
Yeah.
In one direction. So this is how you draw it. This is how you write it. And you put a little what above it. Array. Now I'm going to tell you, I have never seen ever anyone in a book or anyone in a lecture or anyone ever point the arrow to the left. Okay? We move from what way to what way? Left to right. Okay? So, this is in alphabetical order because the vertex was M, and I should have made it N. I should have done it. Because what always comes first is the end point. So that's what this blue is. I don't know if you can see that highlighted. I wrote it and then highlighted it. If it was in my notes, I can see it clearly. Can you see under the blue highlight?
Kind of.
Okay. If it is in your notes, I suggest you get a highlighter to highlight little notes like that. Okay? It says endpoint always first. Always. This is a place where alphabetical order does not take precedence. Yellow should be pretty good on your pencil, I think. Yellow is usually a pretty good color. You can write extra notes on your extra little notes on your note sheets. I would encourage you to.
We're using
Okay, are we ready? You guys want to highlight that? Okay, the next one says opposite rays. And this note goes for both of them. So opposite rays are rays with the same endpoint, but they go, that lie on the same line. So basically opposite rays make a what? Line? Okay, so in my picture, T is my endpoint, and one ray goes from TS, and the other ray is what? And what TS, the other ray is? TU. So I have TS and TU. Now TU is in alphabetical order, correct? But is TS? Nope, and that's okay, because what always comes first? The endpoint. And I'm going to tell you, I probably will call it a vertex before I call it an endpoint, just because I'm used to vertices and vertex with triangles and angles and everything else. So if you call it a vertex, I'm okay. Am I going too fast? Okay, are we ready? Okay, an angle is formed by two rays with the same endpoint. Each ray is a side of the angle, and the common endpoint is known as the vertex. So you have angle, two, and vertex. You like these fill-in notes better than writing every word?
Yeah.
Okay, this is why I make my own note sheets, because we would be here for 6 days writing all this stuff, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's my picture. Do you see my two rays?
Yeah.
Okay.
PQ and QR.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nope.
RQ.
Nope. What goes first?
QP.
QP and
RQ.
QP and QR. Your vertex always, your endpoint always goes first. Okay, so when I labeled it, can you tell me what always goes in the middle?
RQ.
What is Q?
The point.
Q is the vertex. The vertex always goes in the middle. The other 2 points will go in alphabetical order, but the vertex always goes in the middle. So if you want to add that little note, then add it. So I could name this angle, see the angle symbol? It needs to be there. Angle RQP. Or I could name it angle Q. Or I could name it angle 2. Where'd the 2 come from? It's just written, right? Now, I could not call this angle Q if I drew another ray off of this, because when this extra ray isn't there, Q is just in this angle, isn't it? Can't cover up. It's just in that angle. But now Q is in how many angles? 3. 1, 2, and the whole one, which is 3. So if you have something that looks like this and you want to talk about this angle over here, can I use this? No, I cannot. So just be aware, and we'll get lots of practice reading it and doing it. But only if you do your assignments. If you don't do your assignments, I guess you won't get lots of practice. Okay. All our vocabulary, right? Still got more. Distance. Distance is the absolute value of the difference between two coordinates. So difference means what math? Subtract. If I was standing 20 feet from the wall and Regan was standing 5 feet from the wall, how far are Regan and I from each other? And how did you do that? You subtracted. Okay? Is that something you naturally do? Yeah. You know what happens when I tell you to do it in your homework? You're like, I don't understand what you mean. Okay? Drawing pictures is your best friend. Because if you can draw a picture and manipulate it, can you see what's going on? Yes. Your homework will actually take you less time if you draw a picture and figure it out than trying to do it in your head. I'm no artist, but someday you may be as good of an artist as I am. Just wait till you see me draw. Ask Tony. Ain't nothing to write home about. Okay, so what is the length of the segment, right? And I should say segment because it says it, CD. So here is C. And here is D. How do I find the length of that segment? You subtract what? you'd be 4 minus 1, which would be 3. Okay, you need to show me your work, really, legitimately. 4 minus 1 is 3. Did that take long to show? No. Okay, what is the length of AC? Now, you always subtract the smallest from the biggest, okay? So what is the biggest number?
1.
1 minus what?
2.
Not 3.
Negative.
Negative 3. So is that subtraction anymore?
No.
It's
Addition.
addition, and you will never see me write that. I'm just doing it as an example. I threw up a little bit in my mouth when I write that. So then what is the length?
4.
4. Okay, do these two. Down here, I want BD, segment BD, and segment AD. Okay, did you get 4 and 7?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did anybody watch me when I did this problem? Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I did. What did I do in the middle?
You first added and then you added.
Right. I drew my subtraction bar. Guess how I made an addition sign? With the other subtraction bar. When you subtract a negative, in my brain is exactly what I say. Subtract a negative. You get a what? Positive. Did I make my positive out of my 2 negatives? Yes. This, I told you I threw up in my mouth just a little. It makes me gross. Ugh. This is how I do it. This is too much junk for me. I don't like to clutter. Do we have lots of math already going on in our heads? Yes. So try to declutter. Jenna, can you put your chair down? If there's anybody else, stop leaning too. Okay, here is a postulate. This is an important thing. Postulates are rules, okay? You will hear theorems and postulates. They are a rule, no matter what. So, segment addition postulate. If, that's an F. Does yours not look like an F?
No.
Okay, it's if you have a segment ABC, then collinear points lie on the same line. So we need to talk about what the collinear means. If I'm co-champions in a tournament, or if I'm co-president of a club, what does that mean? Means what? Well, no. If I'm co-champion or co-president, am I second? No.
There's just like 2 of you.
There's 2 of you. We share something, yes?
Yeah.
So co means to share something. What does linear mean to you? Line. They share a line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, if they're collinear, they share a line. If they're coplanar, they share a what? Plane. Make sense? Okay, so here's my example. Points F, G, H are collinear. What does that mean in your brain right now?
2 lines.
Not 2 lines,
Lines.
1 line. Because they're not going to have this picture. They're going to say F, G, and H are collinear. That's what they're going to tell you. If they don't tell you that, like any weird order, you are assuming in alphabetical order from left to right. Got me? Okay, so F, G, and H are collinear. Okay, same line. So I draw a line on my paper and I label it F, G, and H. Got me? And then it says GH is 16. So GH, in between G to H, what should we label this? 16. So then it says, what is FH? So on your paper, you've drawn this picture so you can work with it. Got me? Now, this one didn't mention about any of the algebra, so they probably have a picture for you, but they will tell you non-algebraic ones, and you have to form your picture. Algebra, I will push it. I told you that already, right? So we get better out of algebra as we're learning our geometry. So we need FH. So we need the whole thing, don't we? This is what we're trying to find. Right there. And I know this one is 16. Well, so it's this piece, what? What math? This piece plus that piece, right? But what are we missing? Like, we know it's 3x minus 1, don't we? So what are we missing? Well, that's what we ultimately want to get, but what's standing in our way of finding it? The x's, right? If I knew what x was, could I figure it out?
Yeah.
Can I figure out what x is?
Yeah.
How? You can. It's.
Parentheses around it and then distribute. I don't know.
What do you know, guys?
I just kind of knew that 2 times 7 is 14 plus 2, and that's 16.
Okay, but you need to set up an algebra problem, yes?
Yeah.
Do we know that 2x plus 2 equals 16? Do we know that this piece is 2x plus 2?
Yeah.
Do we know it is 16?
Mm-hmm.
So do they equal each other? So 2x plus 16, or plus 2 equals what? 16. Can I solve for x?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do it. Every problem is like a puzzle. Most things won't be slapped right in your face. I know, how rude, right? Did you get 7? So what am I going to do with 7? What, Dylan?
You're gonna replace it with the F.
I'm going to replace it with the x right over here so I can do what with these two things? Add them, right? Because FG plus GH equals what? FG plus GH equals what? FH. So in your brain, that should be your plan, right? So I get 3 times 7 minus 1. That equals FH. So what is 3 times 7 minus 1? 20. So 20 equals FH. Not FH, FG, right? And so the whole thing, well, FG is 20. GH is what?
16.
16. So FH is what?
Oh my goodness.
36. Now, if they told me inches, centimeters, feet, yards, would I have to put that on there? Yes. Now, I have a question for you. Could we have done it different? Maybe. I've had people do I've had people put the algebra plus the algebra, and they made it really hard. I think this way, with the missing informations we have, we found X. That was pretty easy, right? We plugged it in and found the other, and then just solved. Don't make it overcomplicated. Don't be trying to do gymnastics in your work. Okay. So point F, GH are collinear. GH is 16 again. What is FH? This one's a little different. Try it on your own. Oh, and that should not be, this should be JKL. J, found a typo. I don't know why these are such crappy copies. They should be better. And
Make it better.
I know. I think the copier hasn't been working right. So I'm gonna make this. Ooh, I'm gonna change this up. I'm not gonna make a GH. I'm gonna make a JL. Now, this is from the book. What are they missing above that GH or the JL?
The line.
They're missing, not the line, we're just gonna say segment. Yep, they're missing that segment. And what are they missing above the FH? Which, the segment. And I'm gonna make it, JL was 16, so I'm gonna make, we're gonna find JK and KL. We're gonna find both. Anybody got an idea? What do you want to try? Not yet? I switched it up on you. So JL is the whole thing, isn't it? So the whole thing equals 16. And I need to find each piece. How am I going to do that? What also equals 16? Looking at your picture. Because the whole thing is 16, right? And I want to find from here to here and from here to here. How am I going to do that? Say that again. 7 times 3 minus 5. How did you get 7 times 3 minus 5? How did you do that?
So 7 times 3 is 21, then you subtract 5 is 6.
Okay, how about we do an algebra equation rather than guessing and checking? What do I do with these two pieces to get 16? Combine them. I add them, correct? Mm-hmm. So there's an addition here. So these two pieces added equals 16. These numbers are easy. Can you play guess and check till you figure out the one that's going to make it work? Yes. Are they always going to be easy? No. So let's find a way that always works. So 3n plus 5n minus 7 equals what?
16.
16. So how are we going to solve that algebraic equation? You're going to have 8n because I'm going to combine like terms, right?
Yeah,
So 8n minus 7 equals 16.
and then you combine the 7 to 16, so it'd be positive, so you add 7 to 16.
So I get 8n
8n equals.
equals 23.
Yeah, 23.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Too bad it wasn't 24, huh?
Yeah.
Can I change this 7 to an 8? Look at that. Now what do I have?
Okay, now you just.
Now you have 24.
Okay, can you do that with your homework?
No.
No. Okay, So what's n? 3. Correct? 24 divided by 8. So now what do I do with that? Put it in for n. So JK would be 3 times 3, which would be what? 9. And KL would be 5 times 3 minus 8.
Which is
7.
So 15 minus 8 is 7.
yeah.
Okay, does 9 plus 7 equal 16?
Yes.
Should I check that?
Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of a no-brainer. That's what you get when I change the problem on the fly. That's what happens when I do that. You get fractions for answers. Are you going to get fractions sometimes? Yes. But that time I wasn't meant to do that. So I can see what you guys are doing. You're just kind of guessing and checking numbers. Please write out your algebra equations. It will make your life easier as we move along, because these are basic ones. Questions on those two problems? Okay. Next one, we have a protractor. A protractor, yours isn't very nice on your copy. Your protractor. Here's my protractor. A protractor looks like that. That's big. Looks like that. Or it looks like that. Or it looks like that. They are all protractors. They are meant to measure angles. Okay? You read a protractor by putting whatever, this right here goes on the vertex. This little dot would go right on the vertex of all those angles. Okay? This little dot,
For today,
see how I line that up?
find your junior high volleyball players. You have impact
Okay.
testing
So that we don't have to do that, but that's how you use
today
it.
for the 7th graders and
So-
8th graders. The after school and the media
AEC. A,
For reminders, you need to pay.
C.
If you have not paid your taxes,
where
you
does
cannot
this
take your
ray
computer out of the
hit
building,
my protractor?
taking school equipment without permission.
Look at it.
and
Yeah, don't
making
look up at the board
consequences.
because it's not good. Look at your paper.
The following have messages in the office. Please stop by
105. You guys agree with city?
Connor Ross.
Okay. So it is 105 degrees.
Michael and Christina McGowan.
How do I
Sarah
know
Johnson,
that it's
Sarah
not
Morris. By
75?
the office when the bell rings.
Is this angle bigger than 90 degrees?
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to, if it was over here, you have to know where you're at. Got it? Okay, BEC. BEC. Oh, that's a little harder. We know from AEC is 105, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are we going to find here?
We could find A and B and subtract it from the 100.
You could find AEB and subtract it from 105, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So my plan is to take AEB, 105 minus, I wrote that wrong. 105 minus, I can't do it backwards. 105 minus angle AEB. So what is AEB?
Like 46.
It's like 46. I bet it's probably 47. 47?
Yeah.
So 105 minus 47. So that would be 8. And then 9 and 5, 58. Did I subtract right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So always check my subtraction. So we're going to run out of time. We're here. The 2 homework, don't leave, please. The 2 homework.